Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeAim here with the playoffs of the P4G. So we're playing PokeMEN. Now, I didn't actually have a team builder this week, and unfortunately, because of the Windows update, my capture card was not working. I actually got it fixed for my APA game, but this will be post-commentary of the game. It's on Wi-Fi, don't worry, it's on Wi-Fi. Shout out to my boy Common Dude for recording for me, by the way. But I'm not a big fan of post commentary, as I like giving you guys the real reactions and you know what I'm saying because I'm saying it live. Whereas in post commentary, I could say whatever I want. But in any case, like I said, I didn't do a team builder, so I just wanted to give you guys a little rundown on my team. But we have GhostMZ Mesprit. Shout out to Gypsy King, by the way, for the huge help. GhostMZ Mesprit. The idea of the team was wear down Bronzong for my Deante, my dual dance Deante to win versus PokeMEN, since I had a pretty good matchup. So GhostMZ Mesprit with Stealth Rock, Healing Wish. We also have Spike's Rose Raid. It's faster than his Braviary, checks his Gramble and whatnot. With Shadow Ball as its last move, just because I wanted to be able to hit Bronzong for super effective damage. Synthesis Spike. Choice Band Adamant Zygarde. Now I'm Adamant this week instead of Jolly because even though he has a lot of speed tiers that Jolly is actually nice for, such as Tentacruel, Mienshao and whatnot, I think for the most part, Mienshao, I'd be scared of being Scarf, and if it has like Fake Out Life Orb anyway, I would go for Bandit Extreme Speed versus it regardless, so I thought Adamant was a little bit better for power. Same thing with Gypsy King. Last move, I ended up adding Stone Edge, which is really nice for his Braviary. Also hits him really neutral. He has a Cloyster and things like that too. We have Silent-Till. We're bringing double Stealth Rock this week because he does have a spinner, multiple spinners, as well as Defog. So Stealth Rock, Earth Power, Knockoff, Scald. We're really defensive, and we have Wiki Berry. So if Cloyster ends up getting a Shell Smash and goes for Icicle Spear, it'll pop the Wiki Berry. I'll take it, and I can knock him out after the defense drop with Earth Power into Extreme Speed. Incineroar is coming. We have Choppa Berry, Intimidate to take a high jump kick from Mienshao, knock it out with Flare Blitz. Protect also lets me scout for that. Knock off Flare Blitz, SD, and Protect. And then again, the dual dance Deante. So, like I said, my boy Common Dude did record this for me, so I want to give him a big shout out. And yeah, let's get right into the post commentary. Alright, so here we have the game. Now, I really like Mesprit as a lead because it just dealt well with Mienshao, Tentacruel. It matched up well versus Gramble. Basically everything on his squad besides the Decidueye. But, of course, PokeMEN ended up leading off with Decidueye. Now, I don't want to stay in. Spirit Shackle is definitely a threat. And I have a pretty good switch into this Decidueye being my Incineroar. Obviously, with the Intimidate, the Choppa Berry, if it's like a low sweep type of berry and all out pummeling, again, you can use whatever Z move you wanted. So I ended up going out into my Incineroar as he goes for the Spirit Shackle. Now, from turn 1, I find out that he's either Jolly max attack or he's Adamant with some investment. So that's pretty good to note because that is going to affect some of my gameplay later on, as you guys will see. But this is a pretty free knockoff for me. I can't go down to any attack he goes for, and he's -1. So I throw off a knockoff as he brings out his Gramble. This is actually pretty important because in the last game that we played, he was an Assault Vest Gramble, which took a Sludge Bomb from my Rose Raid and was able to knock it out. But I'm able to knock off his Kebia Berry, which is the Poison Resist Berry. And what I actually can do is go right out to send Rose Raid with his item knocked off. He won't be able to take a Sludge Bomb. I also have like max HP on this Rose Raid, so I can take Earthquake. I do find out right here that he is max attack Gramble just based on this Earthquake damage. Now, I don't expect him to stay in. He does have Tentacruel as a pretty decent switch in. Braviary could also potentially switch in, though I think that's a little bit less likely. I think Tentacruel is the most likely play. So I end up going for a Synthesis. This way I can actually switch in a little bit more on the Gramble later. Unfortunately, I don't have Energy Ball or Giga Drain. I was actually leaning towards Energy Ball over Shadow Ball first, but I like the idea of hitting Bronzong so Deante gets set up. So I ended up changing it to Shadow Ball, and I actually decided to switch right here out into my Mesprit because I thought this was a good opportunity to either get up my Rock or threaten it with Psychic. Also, had he wanted to go for the knockoff, which he does, I don't care too much because I do have my Z move. So my Z move is revealed. I'm going to throw off a Psychic right here as he brings out the Decidueye. Now, based on this Psychic damage, I know that he is max HP on the Decidueye because I'm modest max special attack. Now, if he's running 0 speed, I do outspeed him right here. And because Incineroar is so obvious as a switch, I actually decided to stay in right here and throw off my GhostMZ. It would KO as Decidueye if he decides to stay in. If I was faster, I get the KO immediately. But he turned out to be running some speed and goes right for U-turn. I was really hoping while recording that he didn't go out into Braviary right now, as thankfully he ends up going out to Gramble. So I basically get saved a little bit here since, again, obviously Ghost TMZ would not be knocking out the Braviary. And speaking of which, Braviary is actually a giant threat. If it has something like Steel Wing, obviously I don't want Deante to take that hit. It could be sub bulk up. Sub bulk up is actually something I was very, very, very scared of, since it could set up on Pokemon like Zygarde with enough bulk ups, set up on Rosade very easily. So, like I said, I end up catching that Gramble upon switching. I can easily outspeed it in the following turn and throw off a Psychic. No reason not to. Again, no real Psychic immunity on his team that wants to take it. He didn't bring Bronze on, which was pretty interesting because that really led me to believe that late game Deante could put in work. So he brings out his Braviary here. I don't really switch in too well, and there's no way I'm letting my Deante, which is something that can sweep, take damage right here. So I want to find out information about this Braviary, whether he's offensive or not. If he's max attack, he easily knocks me out. That crit did not matter at all. It actually turns out that he is Life Orb Braviary too, so I was guaranteed going down there. But I can easily go out to my Banded Zygarde. 1,000 arrows, if he has no HP investment, guarantee knocks him out. But I thought that Stone Edge was the better play, just in case he did have some bulk. And it also hit Decidueye as well as Defensive Cloyster for just a bit more than 1,000 arrows would end up doing. So, like I said, I am adamant choice band. So throw off the Stone Edge as I do connect. The Decidueye lives on like 1 HP, and I decide to actually risk the Stone Edge again here because I feel like I gain... I lose so much momentum if I switch out. I obviously lose momentum if I miss as well because he could, hit me with Spirit Shock or go for U-turn. But thankfully do connect as Zygarde is going to pick up its KO as he is going to bring out his Mienshao. Now, this is definitely a threat. I do, however, have Incineroar with the Chopper Berry, and what I decided to do is use it as a pivot. I want Seismitoad to be as healthy as possible, so I'm not going to use that as a switch-in. As that's an answer to Cloyster. And if he goes for high jump kick, again, I will be able to take it. I can also find out if he's Reckless or Regenerator just based on this damage. So based on this damage, we do find out that he is Regenerator Mienshao. It did nowhere near Reckless Calx, and in fact, it's Adamant Mienshao as well. So I had a choice to either go for knockoff or throw off a knockoff or go for Protect. I decided to play a little bit smart and go for Protect because that would obviously have him to lose 50% and probably coax him to switch out. But he decides to go out to Cloyster. I'm going to make the really safe play and go out into my Seismitoad as he throws off an Icicle Spear. That's actually a pretty smart play too, because what it does is it gives no free switch-ins on my team. Like, nothing really wants to take Icicle Spears from set up Cloyster. And Cloyster was really, really scary too, because if it's Shell Smash Z Explosion, now my Seismitoad is in range of that. As that would be able to knock me out. So right here, I actually don't expect him to stay in with Cloyster because obviously I threaten it with something like Earth Power or anything like that. So I actually throw off a Scald, anticipating him to want to switch out into potentially Braviary as he does. But looking back, it really didn't matter about this play at all because I was never staying in with Seismitoad, even if I did get the burn on Braviary, because Seismitoad was just way too important to check Cloyster in this game. So I decided to go out into my Roserade. At this point, he has that Adamant Mienshao, which hits incredibly hard. He still has Tentacruel, probably has Liquid Ooze, so even if I had Giga Drain, I couldn't go for it. And Cloyster definitely threatens me with Icicle Spear, so I decided just to sack it. That way I can go out into my Zygarde right here and pick up the KO. So once again, Zygarde just coming and picking up that KO. It's going to be a lot of Zygarde coming in here as it has just such a great speed tier versus his, slower mons like Braviary. So I can throw off a Bandit 1,000 arrows. He had no switch-ins at all. If it was Shucka Berry, Tentacruel, it's 2-hit KO'd. Anyway, offensive Cloyster is also 2-hit KO'd by Adamant Choice Band attack. So he decides to bring out his Mienshao right now. A little bit surprised he didn't bring out Cloyster, as I felt like Cloyster was a little bit better of a play, as it can come in and kind of claim a kill. But Mienshao also makes a lot of sense because, again, high jump kick also claims a kill. So I decided to go out into my Incineroar right now, as he is going to go for the U-turn. And as opposed to going for high jump kick. I understand that play too because you want to limit the amount of misses. For the most part, I'm going to be switching out. My Zygarde 10% is the most important Pokemon on my team right now, especially because he's looking to be swept by extreme speed. So he goes into Cloyster as he is going to throw up a Toxic Spike, which is good and bad. I do find out he does not have a Shell Smashing variant most likely, as I can throw off a Flare Blitz, and this damage is going to be very, very, very crucial on the Cloyster. Beautiful, beautiful damage. And what he actually ends up doing right here is going for the Icicle Spear. I think at this point I was thinking he didn't have a water move, which is pretty important for my Deante. But I think what he was doing was he was trying to predict my Seismitoad, as obviously if he went for something like Liquidation, my Seismitoad will recover. But even with the crit, he's not able to knock out Incineroar, and Incineroar gets this very, very crucial chip damage on Cloyster. Like, this is really, really important because offensive Cloyster is now at the point of Banded Extreme Speed. Now, keep in mind, I actually looked down when it did this, so I thought the Cloyster was at more HP than it was. But either way, I can go out the Seismitoad, and at this point, Earth Power is my best play. Knocks out Cloyster. It does some damage to Tentacruel, and it does about 50-60% to Mienshao, putting it in range of extreme speed. He does end up bringing out his Tentacruel right there, maybe on the protected Scald, as I'm actually able to pop his Shucka Berry. Again, really, really important, just in case I ended up going for 1,000 arrows later. And the really cool thing is here, unless he's Giga Drain on Tentacruel, he's not going to be able to knock out my Seismitoad. And he more than likely is running Ice Beam if he's Shucka Berry to lure my Zydog. So I can stay in. He uses that, which pops my Wiki Berry. Which means that I'll be able to take 2 more hits, and I'm able to weaken him with the next Earth Power to the point of Banded Extreme Speed, like I said, from my Zygarde. Now, what I actually decided to do here was, again, because of me not realizing how low on HP Cloyster was, I decided to throw up rocks. Now, the reason I decided to throw up rocks was because, no, it wasn't right here. It wasn't right here. First, I throw up Earth Power right here because Earth Power is a smarter play, getting rid of Tentacruel. He ends up going Mienshao right there. I think the idea is not allowing Diancie to potentially go for Rock Polish, if I'm not mistaken. But at this point, that damage is so crucial on Mienshao. That damage is incredibly crucial on Mienshao because it puts it in range of extreme speed after Regenerator, dependent on rolls. So what I decided to do was just lay up some rocks with my Seismitoad to guarantee that Cloyster was in range, because again, I thought I was at more HP. And also, if he U-turned, to guarantee that the roll was 100% in my favor. If he got the regen, because he probably wouldn't want to risk high jump kick. But he turns right back out into Tentacruel. Now, I decided to play a little bit of games with Poison. Depending on the Rapid Spin rolls, my Seismitoad can actually live Poison plus Spin. At least one more Rapid Spin, excuse me. So that way I can keep my Stealth Rock up. But I'm at 6%, and the average roll with Rapid Spin is 6. I'm at 6 HP, rather. So he's able to knock me out, which means that the rocks are not going to be up to guarantee the roll on Mienshao. But it's basically going to come down to if my Adamant Choice Band Zygarde can clean up. I also have Rock Polish Diancie in the back that can, take one hit from Mienshao because it's not reckless, and knock it out with Moonblast, and potentially take a hit from Cloyster if it's not running Liquidation, which we do find out that it was running Liquidation. So I go for the Adamant Banded Extreme Speed, knock out Tentacruel. Mienshao is going to come out, and it comes down to this roll. Again, I'm Adamant Choice Band, and it does 66 to 78%. I throw off an extreme speed, and I end up getting the roll on Mienshao. Again, it was about a 50-50 roll right there. I'm able to knock out Mienshao, which guarantees that I'll be in the playoffs, next round of playoffs, because Cloyster is going to come out, and this whole time I thought it was at way more HP. But Adamant Choice Band Extreme Speed is going to be able to finish off Cloyster, and that's going to be a good game. So Zygarde really went in. Was a super close game versus PokeMEN. We do have an interview. Let's go right to that. Alright guys, so even though I was not able to do live com because of my capture card issue, I do have an interview right here, and I do have PokeMEN, aka John. He can say hi.
What's going on, everyone?
So we just played our game, just been talking. I didn't have a team builder this week, so you guys actually get to see my team, but the idea was, had you brought Bronzong, everything basically had a way of hitting it, so that way Rock Polish Diancie could sweep. Assuming you brought like a similar team to last time with like Life Orb, Mienshao and whatnot. But you have a bunch more threats this time, like Cloyster, which forced like Weakened Berry, Seismitoad, so it can eat the hits. And yeah, I really couldn't decide on. Basically, most of this team was made by Gypsy King. Big shout out to him. And some of the stuff I ended up adding last minute, like Stone Edge on Zygarde. That was going to be Dragon Tail or Galera. But I ended up deciding on Stone Edge because Braviary is a problem. I'm glad it worked out. And then Shadow Ball was like the last move on Rose Raid. Because again, I wanted to weaken the Hitmonlee, the Seismitoad, and then I put Power Gem on Diancie over Earth Power because I didn't want to lose to sub bulk up Braviary, which I thought was like, something you could potentially bring versus me.
I considered that for a while.
What was the the thought process behind your team?
Okay, so with my team, like I knew I kind of had an unfair advantage in a sense.
Yeah, Mienshao, Cloyster. Yeah.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Well, and then like last game it was a 2-0 win in your favor.
Off of
and not much changed.
Yeah, off of me predicting a double. It was literally off of me calling a double.
Right, and like I knew I get rid of Bronzong. That's just one less. You're just gonna set up on it, or like you just every time you got to bring in Duosion. And if I didn't have Bronzong that game, I think a lot changes because just bringing Duosion was a problem. So we get rid of that. Get rid of Gastrodon. Get rid of Zebstrika. Those three Pokemon can't really do much, and replace those with Tentacruel, no Toxic Spikes, Cloyster, which really put in a lot of work just because of speed tiers, and then a Braviary set, which really put in a lot of work because of speed tiers. With the Heat Wave and Steel Wing, I didn't think you'd have Mawile because of the thought,
Defiant. Yeah. Originally,
and if you did have it,
yeah, you'd smack it. Originally,
right.
You have Heat Wave. That's too. Originally, one of the things that was brought to my attention was like a counter type of Mawile, but I was really scared about the Braviary basically. And what I really like about your team is you can easily see as you go through it, but if Knockoff and Tentacruel, Cloyster with pressure, Mienshao already a beast, and everything else, basically Duosion has no free time here at all. Like it doesn't, as you said, you replace Zebstrika, you replace Bronzong, Gastrodon, and these are mons that gave Duosion free recovers, free attacks, stuff like that. So I think that was a super smart call on your part. I spoke about it. Okay, I spoke about it to you, and I already know I'm going to speak about it in postcom, postcom, and I'll also be speaking about it, or I spoke about it as well last time we played. But I feel like your team has like the best matchup versus me in terms of everybody.
Oh yeah,
it's literally because of Mienshao, but then you added monsters like Cloyster and Braviary, which really came into play. And again, that game was literally decided by the what's it called? The roll. Yeah, the roll.
Yeah.
The roll.
Yeah, and it's one of those games. Obviously, I'm not happy to lose it, but the fact that it comes down to a roll, another really close game, like I don't have anything to be upset with. There's so many little plays like the Cloyster. If I don't go for Icicle Spear, but I mean, you go into Seismitoad, I heal it up all of a sudden. I don't have anything. Like I had nothing left. I had Icicle Spear, I had High Jump Kick, and then I had Ice Beam on Tentacruel. That thing's just not going down if I heal it up. So I kind of had to make that play. I didn't have to, but it felt like I was in a hard spot. And the only way that was going to be a problem is if you did have Adamant banded extreme speed at the end. Yeah.
Which I ended up doing, Like, I mean, I talked a little bit about it with you, but basically, Mienshao was either going to be Life Orb or Scarf, in my opinion. And, if Life Orb, you could easily add Fake Out to it if you wanted. Though this set makes a lot more sense. Hyzer K, U-turn, Knockout, Drain Punch. So I figured Dog is not going to really need... Dog doesn't really need to outspeed that. So Shreka obviously outspeeds me anyway. Though last time you ran HP Grass, so I wasn't sure exactly which one you would run now.
And I'd have to pick another one this time with the Seismitoad and
Exactly. So which covered that, but that's why I was really adamant about spamming rocks at the end. I truthfully thought that Cloyster was at 40% and not like the 20% it was at. So I was like, oh, okay. So rocks ensure that Cloyster dies, and it also gets rid of the roll on Mienshao. It guarantees the thing. And Rapid Spin to Tentacruel. To Cloyster? Seismitoad, yeah, that's the one. Rapid Spin to Seismitoad, the damage was like 5, and then 6 like 30 times, and then 7. And unfortunately, I was at 6 because of the first one. I was like, oh, okay, you got a lower run here. Maybe nope, I'm at 6. So it guarantee it for the most part, you're KO me unless I got a ridiculous roll. But I was trying to set up for potentially Deancey rock polishing at the end. And this was, or even just going for Moonblast and then hoping you didn't have, You didn't have Liquidation on Cloyster because I'd live in Icicle Spear. But that was, like I said, that's had I not gotten the roll and you connected with your high jump kicks, I think you definitely had it. So.
Yeah, there was a lot of little plays. Like I almost knocked off on the Seismitoad, but I love it when it comes down to trying to figure out what berry. I feel like that just shows it was a good match. If I'm trying to figure out what like specialized berry you have on a Pokemon, and we're getting back and forth there was some good teams going into a good playing at the end. And if I don't know if I had gotten the knockoff, maybe you would have gotten the rocks up. Maybe I saved myself by playing worse. I don't know. It was I have no idea how that would have gone, because I wasn't gonna think like you were gonna get stealth rocks at the end. I was thinking Seismitoad's gonna try and weaken some things. Then you got the Diancie that you'd been saving, and I was really interested in what was gonna go on with that Diancie because you'd clearly saved it. And I'm like,
I did not bring it in ever on Braviary. Like when I scalded from Cloyster into Braviary, I realized it was kind of a waste of a turn for me because I was obviously expecting Braviary to come out like on the Earth Power, but I realized had I burnt you, I'm still switching to Rose Raid anyway, so I should have just Earth Powered. But I think the main reason I did that is because I was fearing like a Tailwind type of thing. Right. Because I've used Tailwind, Braviary, and VGC, and I was like, what if he's Tailwind like Life or... Man, and had I known you had no attack investment, I wouldn't have no HP investment. I wouldn't have even clicked Stone Edge. I would have clicked 1,000 arrows and hopefully could KO'd Decidueye with the Adamant.
Oh, I was so hopefully you were gonna miss. It's like, oh, Stone Edge. Well, I don't know. I have a chance here.
I was contemplating that. I think that if I was doing live com, I would have switched. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like, no, forget it. This is post com. Let me go for the roll, and if I miss, I can just blame it on that. As opposed to me convincing myself of the better play. Like the interesting thing is too, like I knew Tentacruel would be faster than my Zygarde just because of my Zygarde speed tier. I knew because that's why I was trying to put it in range of extreme speed too. So I was really grateful when you went out to it on the Earth Power. I was like, oh, this is nice, and like this thing doesn't have any Spadef investment either. This is awesome.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that you brought Zygarde that couldn't outspeed Tentacruel, and it worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. That Banded Extreme Priority is just the best, and I thought Priority was going to win me this game, but I was wrong.
I think I should have went. One thing I would have changed, obviously, at team preview, because the team put in so much work for Bronzong, and thinking about it now, I've never used Dual Dance DNC in the league because I figured that it was too much to set up. So I think had I thought about it a little bit more, especially because 5 members deal with Bronzong, I would have made it Trick Room at the end, and then that probably would have allowed me to forgo Calm Mind and Rock Posh, Trick Room up, and then Moonblast, Power Gem, Earth Power type of thing. But
yeah, no, and I mean, Diancie was one of those Pokemon I was in my head trying to think, like, is this going to be offensive? Is it going to be Trick Room? Is it going to be, speed? Is it going to have Protect for them? Like, what's this thing going to do? But there's Pokemon on my team with Braviary. Is it going to have Tailwind? And then is it going to be especially defensive bulk up? Is it going to be Defiant, Cheer Force? What's going on? There were so many different little questions, and I think there was, like, small little things that definitely could have changed that. Yeah. I know for sure for me, not going for knockoff with the Tentacruel and Liquidation, like, just little things really changed it, but in the end, you got to win it all, so people think I had a little bit better of a run in the playoffs. If the champion beat me, I mean, what was I going to do? I wasn't going to beat the champion. Come on, he won it all.
Okay. Like I said, dude, I said the exact same thing during the season. You literally have, this is the scariest matchup, I think, for me. And we were talking a little bit about it, guys, before we got on to recording, but how some of the tier 3 picks need to be revisited. Like certain mons probably should not have been allowed. I, for one, think a Mienshao and maybe even like Zygarde / Rose Raid are 3 Pokemon that maybe shouldn't have been, just on that side. Even though I haven't been using offensive Rose Raid at all. It's just been so versatile, and
it can do so many things. That's impossible. Like, I mean, you can prep for it, but you're never gonna pick what it's actually gonna do.
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like we banned. Did we ban Linoon? I feel like we did. I think we banned we banned Linoon and Slurp. I remember I was really adamant when I got up in the P4G chat. I was like, can we ban Linoon and Slurpuff? I don't want to face Belly Drum, even though Slurpuff isn't banned. I think Linoon got banned though.
And tier 3, it's a weird thing. Like, I picked up Cloyster and it was just sitting there, and now using it, I would just use this in a regular league because you have to prep for Shell Smash.
Yep.
And if you bring Shell Smash and you get it up, I mean, you're gonna
it's good.
Win
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna? The fact that I could have just picked it up, like, it's difficult when you get this far down because you never really know what's gonna be super good, and the people who got the crazy cores are going to do super well. And even then, I mean, I can just show up with an offensive Cloyster and a Braviary and just say hello.
Yeah, and smack him. It's true. I know Chip back in the GBA ran like a Spadef Cloyster at one point to live one hit from Braviary so he could switch in and then go for Ice Shard to chip it in range of something. Like it was stuff like that. Like it's a really cool mon and really scary as well to think about. Like just half your team, dude. Half your teams is scary.
Oh yeah. No, having the new additions was very nice. If I had the same team and I had to rebuild, I think I would have already been beaten down and just like, well, gotta bring Bronzong. He's gonna set up on this, and just the stupid toxic spikes. But having the Tentacruel, that was cool.
Oh, this is fire, dude. You changed like everything, and then your season changed around too.
Yeah, no, I did not draft. I was kind of convinced of like, oh, tier 3. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. A friend convinced me like, okay, this will be fun, and it very quickly was not fun. So I need to change that team very, very quickly.
But yeah, guys, I think you should go and check him out. Like I said, I'm sorry that I had to do post-com. Hopefully, besides this, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do post-com for my Little Cup games as well, for APA, until I get a new micro USB. But go and check out John. His link would be down below. Feel free to check out his side. You were live recording, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so yeah, check that out. That's way more entertaining than my post-com, in my opinion. Just seeing reactions and stuff. Though I'm not gonna lie. Again, like when I went for my Z, you use U-turn on decision Y. Because basically I knew you wouldn't go for Spirit Shackle there, but I was also hoping I'd be faster because I calc max HP. And I was like, don't go Braviary, don't go Braviary, don't go Braviary, don't go Braviary, stop it. Don't go. Yes, Gramble. Perfect.
I'm gonna look back at that, and I was so close. Like, Braviary, it just makes so much sense here. And as soon as I saw the Never-Ending Nightmare, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna look this up. It's gonna be Ghost. It's definitely Ghost. Come on.
I should have clicked Rock. I had double rocks on the team, by the way. I should have clicked it.
Well, that was when I started the game. I wasn't even thinking about rocks when you got to the Seismitoad because I was like, wow, there was no rocks on the Mesprit apparently, and Diancie hasn't come in, so he's not doing that this game, I guess.
No, but I had double rocks. Oh, it was smart too. I should have clicked it that turn as opposed to going for what's it called? As opposed to going for Never-Ending Nightmare. But I'm just glad it worked.
But it looked
out.
Cool.
Yeah, it looked cool because it actually worked.
Oh man.
But yeah, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys all enjoy it. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.